So for the Mujtahid, I like fishing and I like agriculture. So if you see me drawing tree diagrams or fishing, you know why. When you look at a fishing rod, how many people here like fishing? Me alone? Oh, my Sheikh there likes. Oh, good. We have a lot of good people here. For a fish. You have a fisherman. And he needs certain things. Usually, you'll forgive my drawing. There's a float and there's a hook. There are people who specialize in making hooks. Do people who know how to make hooks necessarily know how to catch fish? No. Do people who know and manufacture the line necessarily know how to catch fish? No. They're usually chemists, polymer chemists. The person who knows how to make a fishing rod may not be a good fisherman. Somebody can give you worms or bait, but he doesn't know how to catch fish. The job of the Mujtahid, we're looking at the Mujtahid's fishing rod. The job of the Mujtahid is to decide, depending on what is the kind of fish he wants to catch in a particular water, he decides which line he will use, which hook to use for this line, which bait to use. And so usually, even though the scholars of tafsir and hadith, of aqidah, of all the various specializations are helpful, and you've got differing opinions about qiyas, and of course it's much more detailed than what I've presented, much more. The principal thing is to recognize that the Mujtahid is the fisherman. The Mujtahid is the one who will benefit from the different specializations. Okay? Like the one who benefits from the from the person who produces raw material, the person who makes sure that these raw materials or active ingredients are pure. He gets from the specialists and puts together his fishing rod for his purpose. All those fishermen who agree with this fisherman that this is the right rod, the right hook, the right line, the right bait for this water, and that is how they all use that's the rod they use, that's a madhab. Those who all agree on these tools and what comes before what, which size of hook, how much respect to give qiyas, how much respect to give ijma, how much respect, in other words, which one comes first, and how to use each one. Scholars were generally therefore of two types. Those who are mujtahid imams. A mujtahid means you are qualified enough to come up with your equation. You're qualified enough to set up your fishing rod. So you are either that, or if you are not qualified to be a mujtahid imam, then you are a muqallid. You follow, whether you are a scholar of tafsir, of fiqh, of hadith, whichever one you are, you follow a mujtahid's formula. And so all the scholars of this ummah belong to one school of thought or the other. They could take from this opinion, they could take from that opinion, which they believed was stronger, but they all had an equation they followed. So you either know how to come up with your own equation, which hierarchy of tools, or you followed a scholar who had that qualification. And so within the ummah, we have had many scholars throughout our history. Some say we've had up to 80, some 140, Mujtahid Imams in the history of this Ummah. And some of these Mujtahid Imams, even though they could come up with their own school, they stayed with the school. So even though you would say Imam al-Ghazali was qualified to be a Mujtahid Imam, he still stayed as a Shafi'i scholar. And he contributed to the equation of the Shafi'i school. And even though some would say Ibn Taymiyyah was qualified to be a Mujtahid Imam, he still stayed with the Hanbali school and he contributed to the Hanbali school. And so you will find within the Hanbali school, everybody before Ibn Taymiyyah had an opinion on, say, if you divorce your wife 3 times, on one occasion, the Hanbali school took it, it was equal to 3. But from Ibn Taymiyyah's time, and he went to prison and he was punished seriously for that fatwa, but Ibn Taymiyyah argued that 3 divorces on one occasion was equal to 1. So a new Imam comes in the school, and now if you ask a Hanbali scholar, what is the view of the Hanbali school? He will tell you there are 2 views in the Hanbali school. Yeah. And that is where sometimes you will find in every school of thought, on different issues there's more than one opinion. Yeah, the Hanbali has a lot of that. But in the Maliki school on this issue, there are 2 views. Can you eat a dog? Can you eat a dog? The Malikis have 2 opinions. Some say yes, but it's makruh. Some say it's haram. Yeah. Can you do this? In the Shafi school, some say yes, some say no. In the Hanafi schools, can you do this? Some say yes, some say no. And so you will find on certain issues the Turkish Hanafi differing from the Indian Hanafi on some of their rulings, even though they're all Hanafi. But it's which opinion within the Hanafi are they following?